And welcome back to White House Field, where the Harwich Mariners look to make it a sweep here in the doubleheader this afternoon as we are about to start Game 2 here at White House Field once again. I am Colin Casey alongside Tyler Henry. And for the Mariners, it will be Carson Seymour on the mound in this one. Seymour making his debut for the Mariners. And for Falmouth, it's going to be Sam Strickland out of Samford College. So Tyler, after a big win, big outing from Logan Allen in Game 1, Mariners looking to make it 2 in a row and getting back to 500 at 2-3 currently on the season, trying to make it 3-3.
Yeah, absolutely. And Carson Seymour will be a pretty good piece to that. Again, we've been talking about this. Has been the search for good starting pitching. Obviously, Logan Allen and Connor Seckler have been doing an excellent job, but both of them expected to go to Team USA. So the second guy we'll see getting a start that could stick around in Carson Seymour today. And talked about what he's been able to accomplish. The sophomore out of Kansas State. Another guy, much like his teammate who came out and pitched yesterday, that being, of course, Connor McCullough. He spent one semester somewhere else. He actually spent a season at Dartmouth before transferring to Kansas State. So this will actually be the first time he's pitched in an organized baseball game in about a year. Spent last summer with the Southampton Breakers in the Hampton League, and the first guy he'll face off against will be Hayden Cantrell.
Yeah, Cantrell batting leadoff once again. Relatively similar lineup with a couple of changes for the Commodores. Carson Seymour from the windup, and the first pitch of Game 2 misses upstairs for a ball 1-0. Hayden Cantrell batting leadoff, playing second. Trey Cruz moves over to short. You will bat second once again. Austin Longworthy in left, batting third as the next pitch swung on and missed for strike one. Jackson Coots, the DH, will bat fourth. Stephen Moretto batting fifth, playing third. Blake Dunn in right field, batting sixth. Ben Kasparius batting seventh and playing first, as the 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed for a strike. Sean Harrington will bat eighth and catch, and Zach Deloach getting his first action today in center, batting ninth. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Seymour from the windup. Check swing, did he go? The umpire says he does, and that is strike 3, so Carson Seymour starting off his outing with a strikeout against Cantrell, one out in the first.
Well, he doesn't want to be outdone by Logan Allen, trying to match his pace as Allen started the game by striking out the first 5 guys, including Trey Cruz, who steps up from the left-hand side right now.
So here's Cruz. Was at second in Game 1. Now he's over at short and takes a big cut at the first pitch and comes up empty 0-1. Cruz in Game 1 reached base twice. He struck out in the first, singled in the fourth, and then walked and had a stolen base in the sixth. The 0-1 misses just a bit high. Looking at the defense for the Mariners, at third base is Cam Thompson, Brian Dempsey at short, Christian Fedko at second, and once again Bobby Seymour at first as that pitch is fouled off to make it 1-2.
Yeah, Thompson, of course, was out there playing center field, a little bit of an experiment, but he's back in his traditional spot. A lot of defensive shifts for this Harwich squad as well.
Yeah, looking at the outfield, Chris Galland in the left, Joey Weimer moves over to center, and Mike Ludwig, who DH'd in the first game, is now out in right field. And behind the plate is Patrick Winkle making his debut as he catches that fastball on the outside part of the plate, missing 2-2.
Yep, Winkle, the catcher out of UConn. We talked about it a couple times before on the broadcast, how many catchers are coming in, and one sitting just outside the broadcast booth is Duke product Mike Rothenberg. This pitch just misses the zone to fill the count. So a couple of catching additions coming in here, but Jackson Greer has been playing so well. I mean, who knows whether or not they'll keep him on or not. Might want to have an extra guy in there for a DH.
Payoff pitch fouled straight back to the screen, and they'll do it again. So Joe Boyle, the only relief pitcher making an appearance in Game 1 for the Mariners, as he came in to shut the door in the 7th for the 1-2-3 inning. We'll see if the Mariners will have to utilize some more arms, but hopefully Seymour looking to get a deep start in this one. The 3-2 is popped up on the left side of the infield, but it will carry foul out of play.
Well, and that's the one nice thing about getting the kind of outing that you did out of guys like Logan Allen and Joe Boyle. Only had to use 2 pitchers. Boyle only needing to be used in 1 inning. So you got plenty of arms left to throw, plenty of guys to kind of experiment with, and this should be a pretty good setup here when it comes to the bullpen in Harwich.
Another 3-2, check swing, and that is a strike 3 called. And Cruz goes down on strike, so much like Logan Allen, The first two batters have struck out against Mariners pitching in Seymour, 2 away.
Yep, back-to-back strikeouts, and we talked about it. He's got 3 more to get to match Logan Allen's pace, striking out the first 5, but off to a really, really good start here in his debut.
So now Austin Longworthy will try to not repeat the pattern of 3 strikeouts in the first inning for the Commodores. His first pitch misses just low.
And a little bit of an advantage, all things considered, for Carson Seymour not having been seen by a lot of batters at all in the 2019 season.
He takes a big swing at that one. Longworthy for a strike. Yeah, as you mentioned, Seymour was ineligible to pitch last season because of the transfer, but he had a really strong summer of 2018. Curveball misses. No, it's actually in there for a strike. 1 and 2, caught the top of the zone.
Yep, a summer where he had a 5-0 record, and on top of that, a 2.63 ERA, 40 strikeouts to just 23 walks.
The 1-2 from Seymour. Ground ball to second. Bobbled by Fedko. The throw, though, in plenty of time to retire the side. So it's a 1-2-3 first for Carson Seymour. The Mariners look to get the bats going in the bottom of the first. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. We head to the bottom, of the first inning here at White House Field in Game 2 of the doubleheader. And for the Falmouth Commodores on the mound for this one will be the left-hander Sam Strickland from Samford. Strickland, a rising junior. In 2019, he had a 4 ERA to go along with a 7-3 record in 69 2/3 innings pitched. Walked 20 while striking out 57. He actually had a really strong 2018 season where he went 8-2 with a 2.33 earned run average in 81 innings pitched. So not as good of a season this past year, but still a strong one nonetheless.
Yeah, the biggest thing there, the strikeout number is dropping down from 87 to 57, but that'll happen when you pitch about 19 fewer innings.
So it'll be Cam Thompson digging to lead things off for the Mariners, and he lays off a fastball low and inside for a ball.
Yep, Thompson, of course, 0 for 3 just about an hour ago, but trying to bounce back here as this one is in there for a strike on the outer half of the plate. Clearly the go-to guy is the leadoff man here on this Harwich squad. This will be his 4th straight game hitting in the leadoff spot.
1-1. This is on the outside corner. Thompson will be followed by Chris Galland, then Seymour batting third and playing first. Chris Lansley added to the lineup, and he will DH in the cleanup spot. Joey Weimer moved up to the 5 spot. The 1-2 just misses. Mike Ludwig bats 6th in right. Patrick Winkle, the catcher, will bat 7th. Christian Fedko at 2nd will bat 8th. And Brian Dempsey, playing in his first game today, will bat 9th and play short. Pop up over towards left center, and calling off and making the catch there is Longworthy for the first out.
Yep, so one quick out here, and maybe on our way to another fast game. The last one, just an hour and a half to get through those 7 innings. Went by an absolute breeze here.
Looking at the Commodores as they look in the field, it's Stephen Moretto at third, Trey Cruz at short, Hayden Cantrell at second, as that ball is ripped to center field for a base hit. So Chris Galland with a 1-out single. Cantrell at second and Ben Kasparius will be at first. Austin Longworthy in left, Zach Deloach in center, Blake Dunn in right, with Sean Harrington catching his 2nd consecutive game. He's behind the plate.
Yep, a good piece of 1-out hitting there by Chris Galland, jumping on the first pitch that he saw and taking it back to right center field. So one of the hottest hitters in the Cape Cod League continues his stint here with the Harwich Mariners.
So that will give Seymour an opportunity to continue his hit streak to start the year. It seems like he's getting on base at an alarming rate. Pitch misses low. He was actually 6th in the CCBL coming into today in batting average.
Definitely one of those all-or-nothing guys. We've seen him really barrel a couple up. We've also seen several strikeouts.
Runner goes, and it's a successful hit and run as Gallen will round second and head to third. The ball's misplayed. Gallen's going to try to score here. Throw is cut off, and the Mariners have a 1-0 lead in the first inning.
Well, how about that? You saw Deloach kind of give up on the play out there in center field. He was not planning on making a throw to third, so he puts his glove down to just lazily pick it up, and he doesn't end up getting any leather on it. It goes right by him. So a costly error out there in center field, that's how they'll score it, is going to allow a Harwich Mariners run to score, and they're off to a good start here in the visitors or the home half of the first.
It'll be an unearned run for Strickland with the error bringing it home. And so Chris Lanzilli, the DH, will bat righty against the left-handed pitcher Strickland. Strickland's first pitch is on the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, Lanzilli digging in from the right-hand side. Another guy that's taken advantage of the opportunities when and where he's gotten them. And he's been a pinch hitter at times, a DH at others.
Lanzilli fouls the pitch off to the right to make it 0-2. The Mariners have already equaled their entire run output in Game 1 in just a couple of batters.
Well, you wondered when they were going to be able to start bringing the runs around. They were able to get several guys on base, but just couldn't really capitalize. So a good start here.
Strickland delivers from the stretch, and it's a nice changeup. Got him for strike 3 swinging, and that is out number 2.
So that'll bring up Joey Weimer, who hit the only home run and the only run of the game for the Mariners back in Game 1. That coming, of course, on a solo shot to left field in the 4th inning.
Second home run of the season for Harwich, the first being Jackson Coots taking place in Bourne back on Wednesday. And first pitch Weimer sees is in there for a strike.
Jackson Greer, who is not in the lineup right now, as Pat Winkle gets his first hacks, but good to see a couple of different catcher looks, and as we mentioned, Rothenberg coming in today as well.
Now Weimer gets a hold of this one, and it is a high fly ball, playable out in left center. And once again, Langworthy makes the catch. That retires the side, but not before Harwich strikes first. They lead at 1-0 after 1. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Carson Seymour heads out for his second inning of work. He retired the Commodores' top of the order on 3 batters. So he gets a run from his team in the bottom half of the first after an error by the center fielder. That was Zach Deloach. We'll see if he can carve through the middle of the lineup now with Jackson Coots, Stephen Moretto, and Blake Dunn set to bat for the Commodores.
Yep, Carson Seymour, another guy that throws the works, fastball, curveball, slider. He's been able to work that pretty well through 1 inning of work. You mentioned the 2 strikeouts back in the first inning. It's been a very good start for him, and now he'll face the middle of the order, starting off with Jackson Coots, the DH today.
First pitch to Coots is check swing, and he holds up in time for ball 1. Coots played with the North Adams Steeplecats of the NECBL back in 2018, and boy did he play well. Hit .376, driving in 28 runs. The 1-0. That's on the inside corner for a strike. I think Coots also participated in the home run derby at the All-Star weekend That one taking place at Mackenzie Field in Holyoke, Mass. The 1-1. Ball looks like it hit the foot of Coots, and so that will be a hit by a pitch. So the leadoff man is on for Falmouth to begin the second.
I'm not sure if it hit his foot or if it bounced up onto him from the dirt, because it looked like that ball might have had enough spin that it took a hop up. But either way, a hit by pitch puts a runner on base, and that's the first of the day here in this game for the Commodores of Falmouth.
So Coots aboard, and now with nobody out, it'll be Stephen Moretto. Looking to have a better game than the first one. He had a couple of strikeouts and a ground out to third and an 0 for 3 effort. And he improves upon it instantly as he hits a ball through the right side of the infield for a base hit. So 2-1 and nobody out as Falmouth threatening here in the second.
Yet the bat's finally coming alive a little bit here for Falmouth, but they were able to get a couple guys on base earlier in game one and still couldn't find a way to get anybody home. So a little bit of work left to do, but a good position here for them with runners on first and second.
Yeah, the infield was at double play depth, so a lot of space on the right side and a good piece of hitting by Moretto. So now Blake Dunn with 2 on and nobody out digs in from the right-hand batter's box. Seymour checks the runner and then delivers, and the ball missing just low. No rain yet here in Harwich, fingers crossed. Seymour with the 1-0. That one also missing low and a bit outside.
Yep, being a little bit more cautious with the strike zone here. It seemed like he was content to kind of pound it back in the first, but after hitting a batter and then giving up the base knock, a little bit more of a cautious approach out of Carson Seymour.
Seymour comes set, the 2-0. And Dunn fouls it off his hip.
Yep, trying to get back ahead of the hitter. That one shakes Dunn up just a little bit, but he's back in the box and ready to go here with a 2-1 count. Mariners trying to stave off any kind of an early comeback here. And imagine if they could go back-to-back games shutting out opponents. That would be a big confidence boost, especially to a bullpen that's performed pretty well this season.
Here's the 2-1 from Seymour. That's outside. And looking back at yesterday's game against Katuitt, that was one of their issues, was staving off that second effort from their opponent. They picked up 2 runs in the top of the first, but immediately gave it right back in the bottom half. So the Mariners trying to get out of this jam, but a 3-1 count. And there's a swing and a miss by Dunn. The count will be worked back full.
Well, I like it there. Seymour goes right at him with a fastball, keeps it up and away, knows he can get Dunn to chase that pitch, just like he did in the game, the first game that these two played to start the season.
3-2 count. Payoff pitch with a runner going to third, and it is ball 4. So Coots will automatically get the base, and the bases are loaded for a guy who had 3 RBIs back on June 10th against the Mariners, and that is Ben Kasparius.
Yeah, a deadly hitter in Ben Kasparius, and that's going to prompt a meeting on the mound right now. So a little bit shaky here out of Carson Seymour in the second inning, hitting one batter, walking another, and then, of course, giving up the one hit to Stephen Moretto. So 2 of the 3 guys that have been put on were put there for free. This could turn into a very dangerous proposition, as you mentioned, with Kasparius and even Harrington coming up after him. Still nobody out. So we'll see if the Mariners decide to pull the infield in a little bit and try to maybe eliminate the lead runner at home if they have an opportunity to do so. Pat Winkle, a trusted defensive catcher behind the dish. Again, the product out of UConn. He was activated yesterday and getting his first start in a Mariners uniform today.
So once again, bases loaded, nobody out, and it'll be Ben Kasparius digging in, the Westport, Connecticut native. Seen some time pitching as well this past year with UNC. And there's a bloop out into right center. It's a base hit. 1 run will score, and holding at third base is Moretto. But Coots coming in from third, and we are tied 1 apiece here in the top of the second.
Well, they keep the line moving, an RBI single for Kasparius, and now that's going to bring Sean Harrington to the dish. A pretty dangerous hitter in his own right down there in the bottom part of the lineup.
So Harrington from Babson, just outside of Boston, looking to continue to do some damage. Infield at double play depth with nobody out and the bases loaded. The first pitch Harrington sees is right down the middle for strike one.
Yeah, Harrington did not play in the season opener. Catching then was Michael Turner, but getting the call here in both games today behind the dish.
Harrington hit .310 for Babson this past year. And that one's in there for a strike. He falls behind 0-2.
Got to be very careful here. Bases still loaded, still nobody out. And the top of the order looming here.
Harrington, 5 career home runs at Babson. Division III school. The 0-2 check swing. Did he go? They appeal, and no, says the umpire stationed over at second base. 1-2.
Yeah, definitely didn't offer a whole lot at that. So pretty easy call there for third base umpire. Or first base umpire, sorry.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, and there's a big out number one as Harrington retired via the K. The third strikeout here in the second inning for Seymour, one down.
And already an arm warming up in the bullpen here for Harwich. We'll see if they elect to bring him in or not. And it looks like they will, as Coach points on down there. So that will likely spell the end of Carson Seymour's night. Warming up out there in the pen and getting ready to potentially come in here. Looks like Evan Shaver. But we'll have an update on that, all of that and more coming up on the other side of a quick break. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network.
Welcome back to White House Field. We are tied 1-1 here in the top of the second as threatening are the Commodores. The bases loaded and one away, and Zach DeLoach batting. He will face a new pitcher, the left-hander Evan Shaver, the Cincinnati rising sophomore. In 15 appearances, had a 6.96 ERA, 62 strikeouts, walked 38 this past year with the Bearcats. And the first pitch he throws is a fastball in the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, and generally a longer leash would probably be allowed to Carson Seymour, but he's on a pitch count, as we mentioned, ineligible last season at Kansas State because of the transfer. So he is pulled a little bit earlier here than usual.
And DeLoach fouls off the next pitch down the left field line. He falls behind 0-2. And this would certainly be a positive if the Mariners can get out of this inning, only surrendering the one run, the bases loaded, nobody out. Still 4 strikes away from that happening, and Cantrell, the leadoff hitter, waiting in the on-deck circle. Shaver's 0-2. In the dirt, a great stop there by Winkle.
Well, and you can see right now the defense playing back to double play depth. I like the idea there. Going for the end of inning play, and you do kind of sacrifice a little bit of room to the left and right, so plenty of space here if Zach DeLoach can hit it. But for the time being, the defense set up to try to end the inning with one swift hit.
The 1-2. Fouled straight back off the Metal backstop, and we'll do it again, 1-2. Deloach was the one who misplayed that ball in center after the hit and run, which prompted Gallen to score from first base and give the Mariners their lone run so far in this one. Looking to make up for it here at the plate with a 1-2 count. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And so back-to-back Ks by Mariners pitching have them 1 out away from getting out of the bases-loaded jam.
Evan Schaber that time coming with one of his patented pitches, a split change. He's got one of the weirdest pitching arsenals I think I've ever seen. A fastball that's going to get anywhere between 90 to 96 miles an hour, a split changeup, and a two-seam grip slider, something that you don't see a whole lot of guys go out there and throw. So some different things he can mix in, but clearly going to that split change early to get this first strikeout, and he's 1 out away from ending what could turn into a disastrous inning with a big hit.
Hayden Cantrell sits in the way of that, and Schaber's first pitch to him is fouled straight back. Cantrell led off the game with a swinging strikeout, and he has now struck out 3 times in his 4 at-bats today so far.
Yeah, a lot of high-volume strikeout games for a lot of different guys for Falmouth in these first couple of appearances here.
Cantrell batting from the right-handed batter's box. The 0-1. Fastball misses a little bit high. Moretto on third, Dunn on second, Kasparius on first. 2 away here in the top of the second inning. The 1-1 catches the corner, 1-2.
Yeah, but right now Harwich looking to get another really good outing here out of Evan Schaber. A lot of guys that Coach said he wanted to mix in and kind of see how they do. So Schaber getting an opportunity in a big high-pressure situation here.
Here's the pitch, and it's a backdoor curveball that misses a little high, so that will leave the count at 2-2. Now, if Cantrell's able to get another ball here, it'll give everybody a running start with a full count and 2 away. Schaber comes to the set. The 2-2. Fouled off. Mariners, of course, playing their first home game just a few moments ago, wrapping up that game and getting the victory. So they're now 1-0 at home, compared to 1-3 away from White House Field.
Well, and how about this for the Mariners, currently sitting 4th in the league in strikeouts from the pitching staff with 51. 2 of the teams ahead of them with an extra game.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. So 3 consecutive strikeouts with the bases loaded and nobody out gets Harwich out of the inning while only giving up the 1 run. However, that RBI single by Ben Kasparius ties things up at 1 after 1.5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball here on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Back to baseball here at White House Field. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey want to give you a quick update on scores around the league. Everybody involved with a doubleheader today. Of course, Harwich getting the win, and there's 1-0 over Falmouth. A couple other finals from the first games to pass along. YD gets the win at home over Katuitt, 7-2. Finally, somebody able to slow down the Kettleers. Brewster continues their winning streak. They extended to 2, their first 2 wins of the year. They get the win 11-5 over Hyannis. And, of course, Orleans finally wrapping things up with a 9-0 victory over the Bourne Braves.
Mike Ludwig leading things off for the Mariners as he swings at the first pitch, and it is a Fly ball out towards left center, and calling off the left fielder Longworthy is Deloach for out number 1.
That could have been bad as the two looked very close to colliding there for just a moment. The other game that is still in progress from the first set, Wareham has a 5-0 lead over the Chatham A's. That one in the top of the 5th, and then right now, Katuitt up on YD 2-1 in the bottom of the 3rd. Hyannis up on Brewster 3-1, and of course here it's 1-1.
So it's the first at-bat for Pat Winkle as a Harwich Mariner, and he lays off the first pitch low and outside for ball 1. Strickland back out there for Falmouth. Surrendered a run in the first. It was unearned, and there's a line drive out towards right center, falling quickly, and it's a base hit for Winkle. So 1 at-bat and 1 base knock for the UConn catcher.
Welcome to Harwich. Take a look at what he did last season, hitting .318, slugging .486, 10 home runs to tally onto that, and off to a good start here.
So now second baseman Christian Fedko, his teammate at UConn, will bat. Fedko playing second base for both games of the doubleheader. He had 2 at-bats in game 1 with a double and a line-out. First pitch he sees, he swings at, fouls it straight back.
Yep, and once again with 1 out, Harwich able to get a runner on base, but it's going to be a task to try to find a way to bring him around to score. It's kind of been the theme of the season so far for the Mariners, and they could use at least one more run here with a tie game in the 2nd.
Strickland with a look over at first. Now he delivers, and it misses low for a ball.
And in case you're wondering about Pat Winkle's speed over there at first, not the biggest concern. No stolen bases through 2018, 2019, or the summer of 2018 so far. So if he did steal a base, it would be the first official one of his career.
Yeah, not a whole lot of fast catchers up and down the major leagues. Never has been. There's a fly ball out towards right field. Not even having to move, though, is the right fielder done. And he makes a catch for out number 2 as Winkle retreats to first.
So that'll bring up Brian Dempsey, the shortstop, taking his first at-bat today. Boston College product, who this season.
Dempsey was in the lineup yesterday against Katuitt. Had an 0 for 3, but he did have a sacrifice fly in the 8th, bringing home a run.
Yep, still looking for his first official hit of the year.
First pitch he sees in this at-bat is a fastball in the outside corner. Dempsey, a middle infielder, seen time both at second and short. The 0-1. That one misses in the dirt, but a nice block there by Harrington. Not a lot of wind out here this afternoon compared to some of the other games we've seen recently.
Yep, the flag just kind of fluttering out there, not really blowing one way or the other right now.
There's a swing and a miss on a nice pitch from Strickland, 1-2. Winkle the man on first, 2 away here in the bottom of the 2nd, all even at 1. And the 1-2 is chopped foul. Mariners and Commodores playing their 3rd game against each other. They'll play one more time this season. Series currently at 1-1. Another 1-2 is fouled off yet again.
Yep, and Falmouth already increasing the amount of wins that they got against Harwich last season, where they went 0-4 against the Mariners. So, of course, every year, completely different team, usually a little bit of a different coaching staff, depending on how you have it. Jeff Trundy, of course, out there for another year, though.
A one-hopper hit to short by Dempsey, and Cruz will flip it over to Cantrell to retire the side. So, despite the one-out single from Pat Winkle, the Mariners go down, and after 2 innings of play, it is Harwich 1, Falmouth 1. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back to White House Field. We are through two. 1-1 is your score. The Mariners and Commodores tied at 1 apiece. And this broadcast is brought to you in part by Curry College. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
So Trey Cruz will come on to lead off the third inning here. Back out there for another inning of work is Evan Shaver, and the Mariners go back to work on defense as the first pitch in there for a strike from Shaver. Shaver ready with the windup. Here comes the 0-1. And that one, a little late breaking action, is just going to catch the outside edge. Count now to 0-2.
Yeah, Cruz striking out in both of his inaugural plate appearances in the doubleheader this afternoon.
Here comes the 0-2 from Shaver. Fastball that'll miss outside. And, you know, a little bit of different movement on that two-seam grip that he has on the slider when he does throw it. It's not something a lot of guys are used to seeing. So an effective tool in the back of his pocket. We'll see what he comes with here with the 1-2 pitch. It's going to be a breaking ball inside. That's actually that split change that he has. And what a pitch. Another strikeout here for the Mariners pitching staff.
Yeah, split change is not a pitch you really see too much of, but when you throw it well, it's really, really tough to pick up. You see it as a fastball, and then not only does it slow down, it just completely drops. It's almost like it just stops right as it hits the plate.
Goes from slow to even slower. Here he comes with a high fastball, and they're going to say no offer there from Austin Langworthy, so the count to 1-0. So a strange toolbox, but an effective one nonetheless, as Shaver comes home with a 1-0. And that one will be in there. Fastball down in the zone to even the count at 1-1. Langworthy, of course, 0 for 3 during the first game, so 0 for 4 on the day. Just 0 for 1 in this game as a fastball misses inside.
Got the first look at the White House Field dimensions. 330 down both lines and even 400 at dead center. Symmetrical ballpark.
It's a beautiful thing as this misses outside the two-seam slider to make the count 3-1. Seen some wonky ballpark dimensions on our, we'll call it a vacation, our little 4-game road trip before the home opener. 3-1 from Shaver. Fastball swung on and missed by Austin Langworthy. So we'll see if he comes with something traditional here. Goes back to the split change. Try to get Langworthy to chase it, but he's already seen a couple of his buddies go down on it. Here comes the payoff pitch, and it's a straight fastball. That'll be fouled away.
Taking a look at the radar right now, it seems like there's rain everywhere except for the Cape area in eastern Massachusetts. Worcester County just enveloped in green. So is just north of Boston.
Payoff pitch. And it's going to just miss for ball 4. So Austin Langworthy will head on down to first. But yeah, it looks like, Colin, the baseball gods want some action today.
Yeah, of course. And you look at the rain all over New England. But for now, we stay dry. In fact, the only rain we've seen so far was a couple of drizzles about 30 minutes before game time.
Yep, started coming down a little bit and then lifted up before first pitch of game 1, a game that Harwich was able to get the victory in by the final score of 1-0. Here it's 1-1, runner on first, one away, and Jackson Coots, who is the one run for the Commodores in this one, got hit by a pitch back in the second inning. As Carson Seymour tagged him, comes up to bat. Quick throw over to first, not a bad move there, but getting back in safely is Austin Langworthy.
Always tough to pick up on those lefties. All sorts of different moves from different guys.
Langworthy, a 2-step lead, 0-1 pitch on its way. It's another fastball, and once again, it'll just narrowly miss to even the count at 1-1.
Longtime Yankee and Astro Andy Pettit, well known for his very deceitful pickoff moves.
Coots standing in. There it is once again. A little bit less crafty that time, as just stepping off to check the runner is Evan Shaver. So Coots, the URI product, Was elected Mr. Maine Baseball in 2017. Stands in for the left-hand side. Here's the 1-1, and he's going to take this one well foul down the left-hand side.
Yeah, Coots from Orono, Maine, way up north, right where the University of Maine is, the Black Bears.
Right now, just trying to move his runner over with one out. Steven Moretto, who's 1 for 1 with a base knock, standing on deck. Infield at double play depth, outfield playing it pretty standard here. Shaver comes home with a 1-2, a swing and a miss, strike 3. Another strikeout here for Evan Shaver.
Yeah, and he's quietly gotten 4 out of 5 batters, so Shaver just being completely electric out of the pen so far, and he's 1 strike away from getting his team back up and giving him a chance to take the lead in this 1-1 game.
Yep, he's cutting down hitters one by one. Now we'll have to face off against Steven Moretto with 2 away. Moretto 1 for 1 today with a base knock. Went 0 for 3 in the game 1 with a couple of strikeouts, but who didn't? A very, very good pitching performance out of this team, as checking the runner over at first is Evan Shaver. So it looks like Winkle setting up steal defense here. See whether or not they elect to send Austin Langworthy from first. Here comes the pitch. That one will be taken hard up the left side, and it'll get just under the glove of Cam Thompson at third. So another base knock will put him at first and second with 2 away here for Blake Dunn.
Yeah, it's actually the first hit allowed by Shaver since he's entered the game, the 3rd hit in the game for the Commodores. And so once again, they have a couple of guys on base with 2 outs, and let's see if Blake Dunn, who walked in his first plate appearance, can get the job done.
Dunn, another guy that went 0 for 3 just a few hours ago, but getting a little food in your system and coming back with a fresh mindset can change everything. Evan Shaver still looking to get out of this. So far, he's gotten all the outs himself. 4 strikeouts. He's given up 2 hits, though. Trying to avoid giving up a run here. First pitch he sees, and it's that split change once again. Got a lot of good movement to it, and as you mentioned, Colin, it comes in slow and then just kind of drops off a table at the last second. That's very tough to get a bat on. As Blake Dunn finds himself in an 0-1 hole.
Sometimes you can get some lateral movement, too, on a pitch like that, whether it be inside or out.
Comes with it again, and that one will just catch the bottom part of the zone around the knees. So it's an 0-2 count here. A couple of pitches to play with to Blake Dunn, and we'll see whether he goes right at him here or plays with his food a little bit. Dunn standing in, reached on a walk back in the 2nd inning. Shaver sets, checks the runner at second a couple times. Comes home with a pitch. And that one will be fouled away back in behind the Commodore dugout. The Commodore bullpen, by the way. So the count stays 0-2.
Dunn doing just exactly what you've been taught to do throughout your entire baseball career, and that is shorten up with 2 strikes. Choking up a little bit on the bat, just protecting anything close. Just a ball in the outfield will be able to give his team the lead.
Haven't seen Shaver go fastball this at-bat. We'll see if he brings it home here. He does not. Once again, he goes off speed, and he gets him swinging as Blake Dunn goes down on strikes. That'll do it for the visitors' half of the 3rd. We head to the home half, still knotted up at 1. You're listening to Harwich Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Sam Strickland back out to pitch another frame here for the Falmouth Commodores. Everybody knotted up at 0 as we head now to the home half of the 3rd. And for the Mariners, it'll be back to the top of the book. Cam Thompson, Chris Gallen, and Bobby Seymour looking to continue a pretty good day for those 3, all things considered. Thompson still 0 for, but Gallen and Seymour getting the job done and looking to get one more run here, put Harwich back on top.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been pitchers' duels left and right. Yeah, in the first game, it was Logan Allen getting the start, and a pretty good outing as well from Noah Thompson in the losing effort. He just gave up 1 run in 4 innings pitched, so it's 1-1. Still early, though, as we're just in the bottom of the third, and the top of the order due up for Harwich.
Yep, Cam Thompson, the first guy, teammate of Carson Seymour at Kansas State. 3 Wildcats on the team. Thompson digs in from the left-hand side. The Mariners' leadoff man will watch the first pitch, and it looks like a changeup that'll be in there for strike 1.
Yeah, Strickland can really slow it down on you. He's got a pretty solid fastball, but he can really work that off-speed pitch.
Here comes the fastball, and Cam will take that right back up the middle. Thompson will find his way on first here, and it's going to be a no-out single to start the third.
Yeah, and that breaks in a 1-for-15 spell from Thompson. And it seemed like he really was due for one. He'd been making some decent contact over the last couple of games. He finally finds a hole, and now he's the leadoff man on base with Galland at the plate.
So from a guy breaking out of a slump to one of the hottest hitters in the league, Chris Galland steps up to bat. He'll foul off the first pitch that he sees. Already 1 for 1 with a base hit and a run scored in this one. Galland entered game 1 of this 2-game series, leading the league, tied with another player for first place in batting average. As here he will sky one back behind first. Coming over to make the play, though, is Cantrell, and that'll put 1 away.
Yeah, good communication from the right side of the infield there, and that's why both these teams are among the best teams in the league defensively. It's because they communicate. Harwich coming in to the doubleheader second in the league with only 4 errors committed. Harwich coming in the league second with only 3 errors committed. Falmouth coming in with 4 errors committed in third.
Yep, 2 of the best defensive teams in the league squaring off here today, and 2 teams with really good pitching staffs. We talked about how both of them up there in strikeout numbers as well. So Bobby Seymour will stand in. He is 1 for 1 already today with a base knock. Runner on first goes. There's Cam, and there's going to be a swinging strike. Unable to pick the ball up there was Sean Harrington. And will be a stolen base for Cam Thompson.
Yeah, obviously we haven't seen too much of that from Thompson because he's been struggling to get a ball into a gap in the outfield. But now that he's finally on base, he's working his magic on the base paths.
The one time he did attempt to go, he was thrown out. That back in the second game of the series against Bourne. Here's a high pop-up. Settling under it to make the catch is Moretto. 2 down.
Yeah, unfortunately, after the base hit from Thompson, Galland and Seymour both swinging under a couple of pitches. So now with the runner in scoring position and 2 outs, it'll be up to Chris Lanzilli to push home that go-ahead run.
Yep, Lanzilli batting from the right-hand side. He'll get another opportunity here to get back at Sam Strickland, striking out back in the first inning. Big hook there from Strickland's in there for strike 1. Lanzilli not in the lineup for game 1 of this series. But he's in there now, and he will lift one. Chasing it back is Harrington, sliding at the fence, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So a couple of really big defensive plays here for Falmouth have helped their cause. Harwich able to get a runner on second with nobody out, but can't take advantage of it. We head now to the 4th inning. When we come back, you're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Radio Network. Evan Shaver back out for another frame here as Harwich heads to the 4th inning. He'll face off against the bottom third of the order for a first time today. Ben Kasparius, Sean Harrington, and Zach Deloach, sorry. So another inning coming up, and Colin, it looks like we might have another pitcher's duel on our hands as things starting to settle down here offensively for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, Evan Shaver has looked really good in this one. Striking out, or each out he's gotten in this game has been via the strikeout. Mixed in a walk by Longworthy and a single by Moretto, but other than that, he's been spectacular. And so he will be greeted by the 7, 8, 9 hitters here in the top of the 4th.
Yep, Kasparius, who had the RBI single back in the 2nd inning, will check his swing and take ball 1 to start his at-bat.
Boston Red Sox continue their hot streak with an exciting come-from-behind victory against Baltimore Orioles, 8-6 in 10 innings.
This one hit hard right at short and struggling to make the play, throwing to first and getting it there just in time is Dempsey.
Yeah, I mean, Dempsey just seems to be getting more and more comfortable in the field as this season goes on. That is not an easy recovery to make on a bobble there. He picks the ball up and just whips it across the diamond and get the out.
So how about that? Brian Dempsey able to knock it down, and as you mentioned, stick with it and get the out. That'll bring up Sean Harrington, who's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. First pitch he sees from Shaver. He'll take right back up the middle. Dempsey's going to have to make another tough play, spinning, throwing, and
goodness.
It's in time! Brian Dempsey with a heck of a throw gets Harrington at first, 2 down.
And the numbers told us to be concerned about his defense coming into this season. We shouldn't have listened to those. I mean, my goodness, he's been phenomenal this season. No errors made yet. In spectacular plays like that, he was basically on the outfield grass, spinning and throwing that ball right behind second to get Harrington.
Here's a check swing. They will appeal down to third, and they say he did go here. So Zach coming up to the plate. Zach Deloach.
Brian Dempsey letting Shaver know that, hey, you got defense out there. You can afford to let a couple of balls get in play.
This one will miss. Deloach was the first guy that Shaver faced. That came back in the 2nd inning. He was able to strike him out en route to 4 strikeouts and 2. See what he has dialed up with a 1-1 count. Shaver's pitch will miss just on the outside part of the plate, and the count is 2-1. But yeah, this inning has basically kind of turned into the Brian Dempsey show. 2-1 count. Shaver kicks, fires. There's the slider that just misses, trying to keep things on the outside part of the plate, but just missing off of it. The count's a 3-1 here.
Back to the Red Sox. They put up 5 in the 10th, but then Baltimore answering with 3 in the bottom half of the inning, including a home run from former Harwich Mariner Trey Mancini. That ball ripped foul down the right field line.
Yep, just fouled away, and if I'm not mistaken, that means that the Baltimore Orioles are the first member of the 50 Loss Club.
Disappointed, but not surprised.
Yeah, a club that the Kansas City Royals are also desperately trying to join, as this will be a 6-pitch walk issued to Zach Deloach.
Yeah, and as Mancini continues to have a relatively impressive season, hitting .310 with, I think, 15 homers now. It's actually 16th today, but as the season goes on, you have to think that they might move him to a contender come this July.
That they could. So back to the top of the order here. Hayden Cantrell, who is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, squaring around to show bunt. And the first pitch is in there for a strike, first fastball.
Yeah, Cantrell looking to get off the schneid here with a couple of strikeouts in the first 2 innings.
He's had 4 strikeouts today through 5 at-bats. 2 in this game. He's fallen behind here 0-2. Shaver, a long look at first. Zips another one in there. That's the slider. And that'll even the count at 1-1.
Yeah, only 1 hit in the top of the order so far across both games. That one belonging to Trey Cruz in game 1. He singled in the 4th.
Quick throw over to first. Shaver checking the runner. Just 1 runner on first base. 2 outs here in the visitors' 4th. Hayden Cantrell with a 1-1 count, the pitch. And there's that split change in there for strike 2.
Yeah, it seems like he's able to backdoor that pitch, maybe having a little bit of cutting action on it where he can pull it almost like a cut fastball, but much, much slower.
So it's a 1-2 count. Opportunity coming up here. Quick throw over to first, and they got him. So how about that? Evan Shaver picks off Zach DeLoach at first to end the inning. We're still tied up at 1-1. We head now to the home half of the fourth. Harwich looking to tally back here when we come back. You're listening to Harwich Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network.
One the score from Harwich as the Mariners in Game 2 of a doubleheader between them and the Falmouth Commodores. This doubleheader is brought to you in part by Curry College. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
We head now to the home half of the fourth, and it'll be Joey Weimer taking his second hacks of the day. Flew out to left his first time up, and he takes a strike here from Sam Strickland, who's still out there on the bump. His next offering is just missing inside, and the count even at 1-1.
Weaver flew out to left, got a little bit under it, was looking for his second homer of the afternoon.
And here he takes a big swing, but just chops this one foul down the third base line. A big swing for Weimer, something we've seen in a couple of different games. I mean, he's got some good size to him, but just needing to barrel it up a little bit more, and he started really straightening out that swing.
And that Falmouth left side of the infield's paying respect to him. They're playing extremely deep with Trey Cruz on the outfield grass.
Weimer stands in, 6'5", broken bat, little flare, and that'll just get under the glove of Hayden Cantrell over there at second base. So it'll be a broken bat base hit to start the inning for Joey Weimer.
This broadcast also brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care.
So that'll bring up Mike Ludwig. Batting for a second time today. Flew out to center his first time up, and now hitting with a runner on first and nobody out. First pitch he sees off speed, and that'll miss low and away for ball one. Ludwig, a lefty, putting together a pretty good campaign so far. Runner takes off. Good jump there. Throw is going to be close. No, it will not. And it's going to be a stolen base for Joey Weimer.
Yeah, that's his second of the year. Weimer was a leadoff hitter earlier in the year. Has moved down to that 6th hole in now the 5 hole today, and it seems like he's really comfortable hitting in that part of the lineup.
So Ludwig hitting now with a runner on second. Guy in scoring position here. Nobody out. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be taken into right center field. DeLoach is tracking it back, and it's going to fall in for Langworthy, who catches it out in left field. About halfway in there. So the runner stays on second, and Joey Weimer. Ludwig is out, and with one away, that will bring up Pat Winkle.
The catcher from the University of Connecticut, Patrick Winkle.
Yeah, Winkle wasting no time at the plate in his first at-bat, ripping a single up the middle. That was back in the second inning.
Yep, looking to do it again here with a runner in scoring position. First pitch he sees, he'll watch. It's curveball in there for strike one. With the left-handed arm and, of course, the left-handed hitter, the off-speed pitches, for the most part, will break away from the hands. So easy to get caught swinging at those. Runner takes off once again, and it's going to be fouled away. Another good jump by Weimer out there on second, and I'm sure Sean Harrington will be paying very close attention to whether or not he decides to try to swipe another base.
An interesting decision here with one away, trying to get that runner up to third, so fly ball will bring home the go-ahead run. Winkle's able to stay alive, though, here, 0-2 the count.
This team has been very, very aggressive on the base pass this season. Winkle will hit a rocket right to first, flip to the pitcher, and it's going to be in time, but the runner does move up. So the go-ahead run standing just 90 feet away with 2 outs, and that will bring up Christian Fedko, who today is 0 for 1 with a fly out to right.
Yeah, and even though wasn't able to get on base, Winkle able to move the runner up with a ground ball to the right side of the infield. So Weimer 90 feet away now with 2 away, and Fedko can bring home a run if he's able to reach base here.
Big spot coming up here for Christian Fedko. Standing in from the right-hand side. First pitch he sees is a fastball just in there on the left side.
Strickland comfortable with the windup despite a runner on third base. Some pitchers afraid that someone might swipe home on them if they have a lengthy windup.
Something we've seen a little bit more and more of in the major leagues. A couple in the last couple of weeks as far as I can remember. This one's going to be taken into deep left center field, chasing it back and unable to make the play is Deloach. That'll score a run. The question is, how far will Fedko go? He's digging for 3. There will be a throw. It's going to be close, but the tag is on the wrong side of the bag, and it's going to be a triple for Christian Fedko.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough play to make there from Deloach, and I don't think there's any reason for that not to be a triple. That ball was hammered out towards left center field. And talk about great 2-out hitting. Fedko brings home the run and also puts himself in scoring position. And now Brian Dempsey could be the one to drive him home and make it a 2-run lead.
So it'll be an RBI triple, and just like that, the Mariners back on top 3-2. Another insurance run 90 feet away, and Brian Dempsey will watch the first pitch bounce right about foot level. 4-1. Dempsey, of course, still looking for his first hit of the season. Turning into a long and eventful quest. Here he hits one, and that'll get through. So there it is, the first hit of the season for Brian Dempsey, and it'll be an RBI single to give the Mariners a 3-1 lead.
Phenomenal 2-out hitting for Harwich this inning as they finally get past Strickland, who looked really comfortable over the last 2 2/3, but all of a sudden, the Mariners taking advantage of it, and now they get it right back to the top of the order with Cam Thompson.
Thompson led off the third inning with a base knock and then stole second. Aside from that, 0 for 1 with a fly out to left. So he'll try to extend the inning here as Brian Dempsey, who has been phenomenal in the field today, stands out there on first base. Strickland checks the runner, brings the first pitch home. It's a changeup that'll miss on the outside part, and the count is 1-0. The hitting had been the one thing that everybody was concerned about this season for the Mariners, as this pitch just narrowly avoids hitting Cam Thompson. They were third to last in the league, and actually second to last in runs coming into this game. Just 11 runs for them all season compared to teams like Catuit and YD that were above 30. Catuit, 38 runs through their first 5 or 6 games, as this one is fouled away. But the pitching had been kind of the bright spot, and Harwich had kind of accepted that if they could go out there and win pitching duels, that would be a good way to get the wins and rack them up in the W column. So far that's worked, but the offense has kind of started following a little bit more and more ever since the shutout against Chatham. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one will be taken into left field. Plenty of time for Langworthy, who will settle under it and make the catch to end the inning, but not before the Mariners strike for 2 and reclaim the lead. They're up 3-1. We head now to the 5th inning. When we come back, you're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Radio Network. Welcome back to White House Field. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey. Colin, a lot of action going on in the Cape right now. Give us an update on the games going on around the league.
Well, we still have one game remaining from the first set of games as Chatham and Wareham with a late start in that one. And Wareham enjoying a 5-0 lead over the first place Anglers in the East. So definitely something that a lot of the other East teams are looking forward to is a loss for Chatham. YD Sox up 6-3 in game number 2 against Katuitt.
First pitch strike in for Hayden Cantrell. Another inning for Evan Shaver, who has so far looked pretty darn unstoppable. He's been phenomenal since coming into the game, with the exception of 2 walks and 1 hit. This next pitch will miss low and away, and the count is 1-1. Looking
at some more second game action. Hyannis with a lead over Brewster, 3-2 in that game, trying to get some revenge from game 1. Orleans-Bourne scoreless in the second.
Shaver's 1-1, hit to third, picked up by Thompson. Throw across the diamond is in time, 1 away. Cantrell actually was at the dish at the end of the 4th inning, but then Zach DeLoach got picked off at first, so he comes back out and grounds out to third in his go.
The Chatham-Wareham game expected to begin immediately following the conclusion of game 1. Daniel Federman, the projected pitcher for Chatham.
First pitch is a big breaking ball that gets in there for strike 1.
And the gateman will send out Brendan Salucci, as it looks like Wareham will be looking to go for the sweep in that one.
0-1 will miss low. Yeah, a lot of action shaping up around the league, and the standings really starting to take shape. I mean, early in the season, even now, the standings not that important, but you start getting 8, 9, 10 games into the season, that's where you're really going to start seeing teams taking advantage, as this one will be fouled off by Trey Cruz. So it's no 2 count here. Evan Shaver dealing here in his 3rd inning of work. Came in and got the final 2 outs via strikeout to close out the second. Has looked good ever since. He'll miss with a fastball outside to make the count 1-2. Trey Cruz today, 0 for 2 in this game with a strikeout. 3 strikeouts for him today if you count the first game. A walk and a hit as well, as he'll foul off yet another pitch, and the count stays at 2 apiece.
Cruz, after striking out in the first in game 1, was able to bounce back with a couple of at-bats where he reached base. This time, though, trying to avoid strikeout number 3, and he might have.
Yep, 2-2 is going to be sent all the way out behind the dugout, just behind the Mariner dugout, so we'll do it again here, but giving chase was Pat Winkle and Cam Thompson. So we'll see what the pitch is here. Plenty of options, as we mentioned, for Evan Shaver. See if he goes to that split change on the 2-2 count. May go with that. May just try to retire him with a fastball. Either way, he's ready. Here's the windup, the kick, and the pitch. 2-2. High split curve, or split change, sorry. And the count stays right where it's at. So Trey Cruz doing a good job with a lengthy at-bat here, fighting off pitches.
Cruz, a switch hitter, batting from the right against the lefty Shaver.
Here comes the 2-2 once again. Tried to get him to go on the split change, and not giving chase is Trey Cruz, so the count goes full here. Harwich dead last in the league right now in extra base hits, just 3 for them, as there is an absolute blow-by. Trey Cruz goes right through that one, got a little bit of a piece, but it didn't matter as it ends up in the glove of Pat Winkle. Another strikeout for Evan Shaver.
And another strikeout for Trey Cruz, as he's now 0 for 3 with 3 of them in game number 2.
So that'll bring up Austin Langworthy, who today is 0 for 1, reached on a walk back in the 3rd inning. Looking to make something happen here. His team with 2 away in the 5th. This has been a really solid outing for Evan Shaver, who honestly might be somebody they consider going to in a starting role if he can give the team innings like this.
Looking towards the Falmouth bullpen, Robert Ahlstrom appears to be warming up, the left-hander.
Definitely not surprised that they might pull Strickland as a fastball gets in there to even the count at 1-1. Strickland looked pretty good through the early goings of this game, but then giving up a couple of hits, including 2 runs back in the fourth that allowed the Mariners to take the lead. Here's a fastball taken to second. It'll be a tough play. Getting the glove on it and then throwing awkwardly off balance was Christian Fedko. And so this will be likely ruled a hit.
Yeah, it was a pretty phenomenal effort there from Fedko to even get to that ball, but he didn't have enough time to get any power on it, so it's going to be an infield single for Austin Longworthy.
So with 2 away, Austin Longworthy was able to get on to first base, and that'll bring up Jackson Coots, who today is 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch and came around to score the only run of the day for Falmouth back in the second, then struck out back in the third. Shaver looking to get out of yet another scoreless inning. Here comes the pitch. That one will be fouled away down the left-hand side, and the count to 0-1.
Langworthy with not too many steals in his college career at Florida, so I don't expect him to be taking off.
Staying pretty close to first base. Shaver giving him a long look, and now coming home with the 0-1. It'll be a split change that misses outside, and the count even at 1 apiece.
He does have 5 career triples, so when the ball's in the gap, he can really get on his horse and pick up extra bases. But with 2 away, I don't know if we'll see him stealing here.
Here comes the 1-1. That'll be lifted, a good jump, but it gets over the glove of Fedko at second. Runner takes third, and he'll be in safely. So with 2 away here, looks like Falmouth setting up shop. Runners on the corners, 2 away, and that'll bring up Steven Moretto, who is 2 for 2 today with a couple of base hits.
And that will actually bring up the tying run, which is Moretto. One swing of the bat, he can give
31, the third baseman from
the
Sacramento
Commodores
State,
a 4-3 lead.
Moretto.
Certainly could. 9 home runs in his 2019 campaign at Sacramento State. And now it'll be Coach Neiman coming out to have a word with his guy out there on the bump. There is an arm warming up right now in the Harwich pen. Looks like getting warm out there is Will Heflin, another guy who was just activated over the past couple of days. So not sure if this will spell the end of the day out there for Evan Shaver, but definitely something they want to think about. This could also just be a bit of a stalling tactic, giving some more time out there to Heflin to warm up.
And Jeff Neiman, of course, 4th overall pick in the 2004 MLB draft by the Tampa Bay Rays. Went 17-0 with a 1.7 ERA while at Rice.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, and the experience that he brings to this team, I mean, just the amount of knowledge that he has that he can instill in some of these guys, it's been a very, very good addition to the Mariners. And part of the reason that they have one of the better pitching staffs in the entire league, at least through these first couple of games. The offense kind of coming along, as we mentioned. It's been getting better and better as games have gone on. They're still very, very much dead last in the league in RBIs. As fouling this one back to the screen is Steven Moretto. Just 9 RBIs for the Mariners through their first 5 games. Still working on improving those numbers. But again, the pitching has been so good that at times it hasn't even really mattered. I mean, you look at the game just about an hour ago, they were able to score 1 run and come away with the win. Here's the 0-1 from Shaver. Big swing and a miss at the split change, and that is an excellent pitch of Steven Moretto.
Yeah, and sometimes all it takes is a big game where you score double-digit runs to completely change your spot in the rankings. A couple of, 8 or 9 run performances, and all of a sudden you're among the league's best. So,
especially this early in the season. I mean, obviously a lot of those numbers will be drastically different even a week from now. Here's the 0-2 pitch, trying to blow a fastball by him. This one is going to be hit near the Falmouth dugout. Settling it under it to make the catch is Carson Seymour, and that will do it. So they're able to get runners at the corners, but can't bring anybody home. We head now to the the home half of the 5th. When we come back, you're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Radio Network. Back to baseball here at White House Field. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey, and Colin, a new pitcher coming into the game here for the Commodores of Falmouth. It will be Robert Ahlstrom, the product out of Oregon. Give us a look at what Ahlstrom has been able to accomplish throughout his collegiate career.
Oh yes, Ahlstrom from the University of Oregon, long time, or he grew up right next to Oregon, I should say. So he's been from that state for a long time. 2019, he had a 3.93 ERA with a 5-7 record, 73 in the third innings pitched, walked 20 while striking out 61. He also was at Chemeketa Community College in 2018, so he was a JUCO transfer. And in 2018, he had a 2.55 earned run average with a 4-3 record, 84 strikeouts.
Yep, he was the NWAC Southern Region MVP as well, so an impressive career for him, and then working his way into the Pac-12, the Conference of Champions, or so they call themselves. Maybe not so in the bigger sports, but softball looked awfully good as UCLA was able to get the victory in the Women's Softball Collegiate Championship over the University of Oklahoma. Standing in here will be Chris Gallant taking his first at bat. First pitch he sees from Robert Ahlstrom is a breaking ball in there for strike one.
And that will close the book on Sam Strickland, who went 4 innings, allowing 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, no walks and a strikeout.
Ahlstrom's next pitch taking a little bit off of that one as well, and it'll miss down around the knees for ball 1. So Chris Gallant stepping in, as I mentioned, he is 1 for 2 today, a base hit and a run scored. Scored on an error back in the second. Here he'll take it into shallow right field, and it won't even clear the infield. Settling under it is the first baseman Kasparius. He'll make the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, Gallant got that one around the inside part of the bat. Really got him jammed, so unable to carry that ball over the big first baseman Kasparius, and quickly 1 away here in the bottom of the first, or bottom of the 5th. Sorry.
No, you're good. That'll bring up Bobby Seymour, who comes to the dish 1 for 2 today. Take a look at what he did in the first game. Had a base knock and 2 strikeouts. Now in this one, a base knock and a pop fly out to first. Sorry, out to third. So he digs in from the left-hand side. Ready with the pitch here is Robert Ahlstrom, and it's going to be another curveball that just catches the zone on the outer half. Doing a good job painting the corners right now is Robert Ahlstrom.
Seymour 1 for 2 with a single in the first. He popped out to third in the third.
Ahlstrom stands in, 0-1 pitch. Another curveball, this one taken right back up the middle. Being able to glove it and throwing to first in time is Hayden Cantrell. Not sure how he was able to get there in time. It was a bit of a slow roller, but a good throw is able to get Bobby Seymour at first, 2 away.
Yeah, the ball didn't really kick off the mound as much as Seymour probably would have liked it to. Kind of gave the second baseman Cantrell plenty of time to get to that ball. He was able to backhand it and make a strong throw to first for out number 2.
So that'll bring up Chris Lanzilio for 2 today. A strikeout and a little pop-up to the catcher. First pitch he sees from the lefty is a fastball. That'll miss down and inside. And Ahlstrom's behind here. Actually, they're going to call it a strike. All right, then. Count is 0-1. Lanzilli digs in. Long wind up. Ahlstrom kicks, fires, and a high fastball will miss to even the count at 1 apiece.
Lanzilli usually out in left field. Designated hitter in this one. Sat out the opening game. Once again, Mariners winning that one 1-0. Kind of strong performance from Logan Allen.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch. There's the big hook once again, and that'll drop into the zone for a strike. So a good job here early by Robert Ahlstrom.
The only run in that game also coming from the man on deck, Joey Weimer. Solo home run to left center.
Yep, but it ended up being enough as the Mariners were able to get a 1-0 victory. Here's the 1-2 from Wahlstrom. That'll miss low and inside. Ahlstrom, sorry. So Chris Lanzilli has evened up the count here, 2-2. He digs in. Here's the pitch. And that one will be lifted into left field. Coming in is Langstrom. It'll make or Langworthy, sorry. It'll make the catch for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for the Mariners. We head on to the 6th inning when we come back. It's Mariners baseball, and you're listening to it here on the Harwich Radio Network. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey, bringing you coverage of Harwich Mariners baseball here from White House Field. I'd like to remind you that this game is brought to you by Milton Cat for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, Gant generators, and marine engines. Visit miltoncat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
So a new pitcher set to go for the Mariners, and it'll be the lefty Will Heflin, a junior out of the University of Tennessee, and he relieves Evan Shawver after a strong performance, 3 2/3 innings, not giving up a single run, and he is in line for the win as we speak.
Yep, so Will Heflin, another guy who was just activated by this team, I believe, yesterday. So he is getting an opportunity to pitch, as did Carson Seymour. And for Heflin, take a look at what he throws. Fastball, curveball, change, all pretty standard stuff. One of the newest additions to this Harwich Mariners team. Quick scoreboard update. Chatham and Wareham still in the bottom of the, or in the top of the seventh. That game almost over as Chatham down to their final out. The score 5-0 in favor of the defending champion Gateman. That's the first game, or the last game, sorry, of the first series. And really quickly around the league, YD up on Catuit in game 2, 7-4. Brewster up on Hyannis 5-3. Borden and Orleans tied at 0 apiece. And here it is 3-1, Harwich up on the Falmouth Commodores.
So Heflin coming off an exceptional year with the University of Tennessee as a relief pitcher, 4-1 with a 2.20 earned run average, struck out 35 and only walked 14. So he will be greeted by Blake Dunn. Dunn walked in the second, struck out swinging in the third. The first pitch he sees, he takes the other way to right field, and it's a leadoff single for Dunn.
Well, they waste no time. It looked like Heflin wanted to come with a fastball there on the very first pitch and ended up paying the price for it. Blake Dunn drives it, and it's one aboard here. Start the sixth inning. The Will Heflin picking up the torch and pitching with 2 runs of support here.
Heflin looking for that clean 6th inning with a 2-run lead. The 0-1 on the inside corner for strike 2.
I'd like to remind you, if you're just tuning in, this is a doubleheader, so the game's played only to 7. 7 innings, that is. So 6 more outs, and Harwich will be able to get the sweep here in the quick series and get back to 500.
Kasparius with an RBI in this second game. He fouls that pitch off. It was on a single back in the second. He also grounded out to short, so that's now 4 runs batted in almost 3 games played for Kasparius against the Harwich Mariners.
I was about to say, you mentioned he had a heck of a game back in the first meeting between these two, including 2 RBI singles and then 2 runs scored himself.
And a pickoff move there from Heflin. Kasparius digs back in. Kasparius ranked as the #1 player out of Connecticut. And there's a ground ball up the middle. This could be 2. Fedko the flip to Dempsey for 1 on the first. The throw is not in time. It was a fantastic effort, but Kasparius able to beat the return throw. It'll be a fielder's choice with 1 away now and Sean Harrington at the dish.
And I get the decision to flip there, but for Fedko, it may have been a little bit easier. Obviously, you have to worry about the guy coming in to slide, but it might have been easier for him to just take that to the bag and make the throw himself. It eliminates the spin from Dempsey out there at second and allows you to give a little bit more with your plant foot. So either way, it's 1 out here and productive or an unproductive out as the situation stays the same, but the out count goes up by 1.
So now the left-handed hitting Sean Harrington takes the first pitch for a called strike. Harrington struck out in the second. That was the last batter that Carson Seymour faced before departing. And then grounded out to Dempsey on a phenomenal spin throw behind second base. The 0-1. That one's on the outside corner as well, so he falls behind 0-2.
Once again, on pace for a very quick game, just an hour and a half for the first one, and already ahead of all the other games in action right now here in the top of the 6th.
Kasparius at first, the 0-2. Check swing, he held up. So that is ball 1.
Really quickly, that game between Chatham and Wareham has gone final. The Gatemen able to get the victory 5-0. So Chatham taking back-to-back losses here, and they'll have to get them back with a win here if they're going to avoid a 3-game skid.
Will Heflin looks in. gets his sign, comes to the set. The 1-2 pitch. It's a slider, maybe a curveball missing outside.
Yep, and a good job mixing up pitches here early for Will Heflin. Again, just recently activated onto this team out of Tennessee. Had an excellent season in 2019 and looking to continue that into the summer months here with the Mariners, who could use some more pitching. Never have enough.
2-2, he goes back to the off-speed again, and it misses outside. That works the count full with Zach DeLoach on deck for the Commodores.
Yeah, not a bad idea there. Harrington, you saw him kind of take a step out and question whether or not that ball was going to break, but sure enough it did, and it slid right out of the zone.
Heflin, the payoff pitch. Another breaking ball, ground ball to first. The throw for one by Seymour, back to Seymour, is not in time, so we have another fielder's choice. And so Kasperius is retired, and now it'll be Harrington at first with 2 down.
Yep, they'll certainly take that, and that'll bring up the 9-hole hitter in Zach DeLoach, who was struck out and walked today, was picked off to end the 4th inning. Got a little bit too far off of first base, so he's still looking for his first hit today.
Yeah, DeLoach just had a really tough game. He had the error in the first in center, and then the ball hit that was eventually the triple by Fedko. He misread that one a little bit out in left center. But the first pitch to him misses outside.
Heflin keeping everything on the outer half of the plate right now. Nothing inside. Just keeping it very protective. Trying to be very careful with these pitches. Doesn't want to give up another big hit here.
Heflin with Harrington on first delivers, and it's fouled straight back to even the count at 1. A run on 6 hits with 1 error for Falmouth thus far. 3 runs on 7 hits for the Mariners. Two down here in the top of the 6th with a runner on first. The 1-1. Check swing. Did he go? And he did not. Signals third base umpire Mike Williams. 2-1.
Quick update on the Eastern standings after those first couple of games. Chatham falling to 4-2. YD increasing to 3-2. So they're just a game back of the Anglers, and still another one left to play. But for the time being, YD up on Katuitt 7-4, trying to inch their way into the top of the East.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 2, and this could be a really big day for the Red Sox should Chatham lose both of their games and YD picking up 2 wins. That's 2 games right on the lead, and that would springboard themselves right back to the top of the East. Place that YD has found themselves all too familiar over the last few years. 2-2 the count. And Heflin delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the off-speed pitch. And so DeLoach goes down swinging for the second time to close out the top of the 6th. We head to the bottom half of inning number 6. Harwich 3, Falmouth 1. You're listening to Mariners Baseball here on YouTube Live. Robert Ahlstrom out there for his second inning of work for the Commodores as we enter the bottom of inning number 2, or inning number 6. For some reason, my numbers have been completely off all day today.
Well, I know what it is. We played 4 straight road games, so we're used to every single time Harwich is coming up to bat. It's the visitors' half of the inning, and it really throws you a little bit. So we're kind of settling back into that as we finally have a homestand.
Yeah, I'm sure that has a profound impact here as Ahlstrom will be greeted by the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. So Harwich looking to get some insurance runs, leading 3-1 in the bottom of inning number 6.
Quick update on the standings after the first game. Everything is set as follows. Chatham is on the top of the East at 4-2 still. YD catching up at 3-2. Orleans right there in the middle at 3-2-1. Brewster at 2-3, tied with Harwich at 2-3. And in the West, Katuitt still on top at 4-3. Wareham has inched up a spot at 3-1-1. The team they replaced was Falmouth, who drops to 2-1. Bourne at 1-3, and Hyannis still looking for their first win at 0-4-1.
Joey Weimer leading things off for the Mariners as he takes a pitch up high for ball one. Weimer hit a long fly ball to the left fielder Langworthy first, and Singleton came around to score in the fourth. Second time he's scored today. And off-speed pitch misses in the dirt for ball two.
Yep, Joey Weimer making a pretty good case for himself to stick around here as the summer goes on. And again, we talked about it. He's versatile. He can use him anywhere in the order. He's got some power with the home run. He's got a couple of stolen bases, some good speed as well, good defensive ability. Real five-tool guy out there.
2-0, and the Cincinnati Bearcat fouls that pitch off for strike one.
Yep, taking a big hack at that one. So the Mariners still trying to maybe pad a few more insurance runs on here. Just a 2-run lead as we head into the home half of the sixth. But 3 outs away from sweeping the series and getting back to 500.
Be a great way to start the home schedule as that pitch is in there for strike two. Very top-heavy schedule in terms of road games for the Mariners as is. Then you couple that with the rainouts of their scheduled home games, and it looks even more daunting as there's a ground ball fouled.
Yep, Weimer falling behind a little bit here. The count just even at 2-2, so still a lot of work to be done, but doing a good job working deep in accounts. And that's another thing we've talked about over the last 3 games that Harwich has done a pretty good job of, working long at bats. It seemed like in the first 2 games, really, really eager to go out there and try to just hit the ball, but playing right into pitcher's hands and not doing that in the last couple.
Weimer, it's a hard ground ball up the middle, and that patience does pay off as it's a leadoff single for Weimer, and he took a hard rounding of the first base bag, but he retreats, so he has his second hit of game number 2 and his 3rd hit overall in today's doubleheader.
Number 13, the right fielder from Wake Forest.
So, with the leadoff man on, Mike Ludwig, who's 0 for 2 in game 2, will step in. Mariners scheduled to host Bourne tomorrow in the 3rd attempt of having this game played. And there's a called strike, but the weather does look promising tomorrow afternoon.
Yep, finally out of the big rain season necessarily, and I'm sure we'll have other rainouts throughout the season, but finally able to get a game against Bourne, and what a perfect time to play Bourne as they're kind of floundering down there in the basement of the West at 1-3.
There's a high chopper. Kasparius with a flip to second. Close play. He's in there. So good hustle by Weimer. He didn't end up sliding, but he was able to hold his foot on the bag. And so Kasparius unable to get enough on that long flip towards the shortstop Cruz. And so now it's 2 on and nobody out for Patrick Winkle.
Well, it didn't really look like he kept his foot on the base. I think just no tag being applied there, as they obviously didn't get him on the force out at second base, but then he kind of let himself slide off the back, and fortunately for him, Cruz never tried to tag him. So runners at first and second here with nobody out.
Score that a fielder's choice for Ludwig as he reaches base there. There's actually deliberation over whether that was a fielder's choice or a single up here in the scoring booth as first pitch misses outside.
Yep, our Harwich Stats Committee putting in some good work over here.
Now it seems like they're going to actually give him a hit for that one, so that'll be a hit for Ludwig. And the pitch misses for a ball, now 2-0.
Yep, 2-0 for Pat Winkle, who, as you mentioned, led off his Harwich career this season with a base knock. Then grounded out to first back in the 6th. Sorry, in the 4th.
Lefty against lefty. And the pitch from Ahlstrom. That one misses high. So it'll be 2-1.
Yeah, tried to climb the ladder on him that time, but Winkle pretty wise to it. A very
3-0 actually.
Yeah, a very patient hitter. 2-1 up there on the scoreboard, but you're right, 3-0 overall, unless we missed a call somewhere. But
Umpire signaling the count is 3-0. Alstrom looking to get a strike here. And his pitch misses for ball 4. So the bases are loaded with nobody out, and Christian Fedko, who tripled in his last at-bat, in a spot to do some damage.
Well, you get a feeling another triple here would pretty much seal the deal, but this is an opportunity you cannot afford to miss out on here for Harwich. Up by 2, bases loaded, nobody out, and one of the better hitters on this team, at least historically, coming up to the dish.
Fedko flew out to right in the second, but then had that RBI triple to put his team up 3-1 in the fourth. First pitch he sees, he fouls off. Infield in all around as they look to cut down the runner at the plate and keep it a 2-run ball game.
Well, it was a tough start to the season for Christian Fedko. He came into the series hitting just 167, but the double in Game 1 and then the RBI triple in Game 4, he started to really kind of find himself here. And with an opportunity against a lefty out there on the hill, he's got a big chance here with the bases loaded and nobody out to deal some damage.
Fedko, as a high school player, hit 2 grand slams in a single inning. Let's see if he can do some damage similar to that here. But he takes the second pitch of the at bat for a ball 1-1.
And as I'm sure you can imagine, that is actually tied for the all-time national record at the high school level. Can't imagine anybody ever getting into a situation where you'd hit 3 grand slams in a single inning.
If so, I would fire the opposing pitching coach.
Pretty much, maybe the coach as well.
The 1-1 is a line drive out towards right center field. That ball's going to get down. From third comes Weimer. The second runner will stop at third. That's Ludwig. And so it's an RBI single and the second hit of the game for Fedko. And the Mariners lead 4-1.
Well, it's like we said, Christian Fedko really starting to find his footing here in this series against Falmouth. And if that's all it takes to get him started, I'd love to see what he's going to accomplish the rest of the season. An RBI single here, and the Mariners have extended their lead to 3 runs.
So Weimer scores for the third time in this 2-game set. And now the bases remain loaded with nobody out, and Brian Dempsey, the shortstop, at the plate. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI.
Yep, that RBI single back in the 4th inning was his first hit of the season, and looking to maybe tag on to that here and get a few more in.
First pitch he sees, ground ball through the legs of the second baseman, Cantrell. 1 run will score. Here comes the second. And so a rocket by Dempsey goes right through the wickets of Hayden Cantrell. It's 6-1.
Yep, and that's just very unfortunate for Hayden Cantrell. His defense has looked pretty good throughout a majority of this game, but instead of a double play ball, it's going to turn into a couple of runs for Harwich, and that should be enough to secure it. Obviously, anything can happen in baseball, but certainly feeling a lot better with a 5-run lead.
Ludwig and Winkle both coming around to score on that error. And now it's runners to the corners, still nobody out, and back to the top of the order for Cam Thompson, who's 1 for 3 in this one.
Yep. So Cam Thompson looking to get another base hit. As you mentioned, 1 for 3. Had the hit back in the third. A couple of flyouts to left other than that.
So a team that's usually pretty strong defensively having trouble in this second game. We got a pick off to first. And Alstrom unable to get Dempsey leaning.
6 runs on the board for the Mariners. That's the most they've had all season in a single game. So really starting to lay it on thick here on a Commodore team.
The M's had 5 yesterday as that ball misses upstairs. 1-0 to Thompson. Thompson once again 1 for 3 with a single and a stolen base. Runner going, and he fouls that pitch off. Hit and run on for the Mariners.
Yep, the hit and run. You could also go with just a standard double steal depending on what you're looking to get out of the situation with 1 away. See whether Sean Harrington decides to come up firing to second or not, but plenty of speed over there on first base. And Brian Dempsey.
We have a pickoff play as getting caught with too big of a lead there was Dempsey. And so that is out number 1 with still a runner on third.
So that's unfortunate. Still a runner just 90 feet away, but now 2 outs up there on the board, and that's not a great scenario here. Cam Thompson can still drive one in, but that may have shortened up this inning just a little bit.
Infield remains in with one out. And Ahlstrom's 1-1 offering is in the dirt. Good stop there from Harrington.
Sorry, my bad. Just one out. That is the first out of the inning. Didn't know if they hadn't gotten that up on the board. So one away here. Runner on third. But again, that can be a bit of a killer to this inning.
First 5 batters in this inning have reached base. Weimer with a single, Ludwig with a single. Winkle walked, an RBI single from Fedko, and then a 2-run error allowed Dempsey to reach base before he was picked off as the 2-1 pitch is fouled straight back.
So, as you mentioned, a 2-2 count here for Cam Thompson. A chance here for Robert Ahlstrom to work his way out of a little bit of trouble. Still work to do.
The 2-2. Off-speed misses low and outside. And the count runs full. Chris Galland on deck. Singleton came around to score way back in the first inning for the first run of the game for the Mariners. The full count pitch. Lined off the glove of Ahlstrom. No throw home, so Cruz is forced to make the play at first, and it's going to be an RBI ground out for Cam Thompson.
Yep, the most productive out that you can have. An RBI goes on to his total, and getting his job done from the leadoff spot is Christian Fedko, who will come around to score.
Score that one a 1-6-3 putout, and there are 2 away.
Number 36, the left fielder from Boston College.
As the ball glanced off the glove of Ahlstrom as it came up the middle. So now Chris Galland, with the bases empty and 2 away, swings the first pitch. It's a high pop-up behind the plate. Harrington will chase it, and he makes the catch to retire the side. But not before the Harwich Mariners score 4 times in the bottom of the 6th inning. We head to the top of the final frame. Harwich 7 and the Falmouth Commodores 1. You are listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
For 6:30 p.m. Again, that's tomorrow.
Back here for the top of the 7th.
Right here at 6:30
Falmouth
p.m.
Commodores last ups potentially, as once again it is a 7-inning game due to the doubleheader. Harwich taking the first game and looking to complete the sweep, as Will Heflin will head back out there for the Mariners in his 2nd inning of work, and he will be greeted by the top of the order, Hayden Cantrell.
Yep, Heflin looked awfully good in his first inning of work, gave up the base hit, but then a couple of fielder's choices and a strikeout of Zach DeLoach to end the inning. So the top third, as you mentioned, it'll be Hayden Cantrell digging in from the right-hand side to try to conserve this game.
First pitch Heflin throws is outside for ball 1, and Heflin getting plenty of insurance from his team as they scored 4 times in the bottom of the 6th, the big blow being the 2-run error committed by Cantrell as he takes a pitch right in there for a strike. One of 2 errors in this game for the Commodores, both of which leading to 3 runs combined. There's a high pop-up, shallow grass, and easy catch there made by Fedko for out number 1.
Yep, one away. Pretty traditional play there. Nothing too fancy. And now Trey Cruz, who is having, well, let's just say not his best game, comes to the plate 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Those coming against 3 different pitchers. He was put away by Carson Seymour back in the first, Evan Shaver back in the 3rd, and then I guess Shaver again back in the 5th. So trying to avoid being put out by the 3rd pitcher. Will Heflin looking to maybe add 1 more strikeout to his resume.
And swinging a high pop-up on the first pitch. And an easy catch there from Winkle for out number 2. So quickly 2 down in the top of the final inning, the 7th.
Yep, and now trying to close this one out with Austin Langworthy coming up to the plate. Harwich 1 out away from getting back to 500 and putting their season well back within reach.
The Mariners will be back home tomorrow afternoon at 6:30 as they host Bourne. Falmouth will also be home. They will host the Wareham Gatemen, and the first pitch to Langworthy is in there for strike 1. Austin Langworthy 1 for 2 with a walk in the 3rd and a single in the 5th. He also grounded out to the second baseman way back in the 1st. 1-1 count. And the lefty Heflin with the 1-1. Popped foul, and the Commodores are 1 strike away from being swept in this Father's Day doubleheader.
And things were going so well. They came into this game 2-1-1, sitting in second place in the Western Division, looking to maybe take a couple more. They were able to conserve a game, I believe against Hyannis, in which they were able to work a tie instead of a loss.
Heflin blows the fastball by Langworthy, I should say, and the ball game is over. And the Harwich Mariners sweep the Falmouth Commodores on their home field in a Father's Day doubleheader, winning the first game 1-0, now winning game number 2. Final score on that one, it is Harwich 7 and Falmouth 1. We will bring it back in just a few moments to wrap things up here on this Father's Day weekend. Stay tuned.
Fans, as always, thank you for coming out to
Welcome back one final time on this Father's Day to White House Field as the Mariners just completed a 2-game sweep in the doubleheader, winning the first game 1-0 and then beating Falmouth once again 7-1 in the late game. Alongside Tyler Henry, I'm Colin Casey, bringing you coverage this afternoon. Once again, the Mariners with 7 runs on 10 hits, no errors. They left 4 on base. The losing team, Falmouth, with a run on 6 hits, committing 2 errors, leading to 3 runs. 3 unearned runs, I should say. They left 8 men on base. The winning pitcher in this second game, Evan Shawver, came in with 3 2/3 innings in relief, 3 hits, walked 2 and struck out 5. Starter Sam Strickland for the Commodores will get the loss as he pitched 4 innings, allowing 7 hits. He yielded 3 runs, 2 of them earned, walked none, but he struck out 1 in the losing effort. Now, Tyler, it was nice to finally play a game at home, and they will play once again. The Mariners will tomorrow night here at White House Field against Bourne, but it's got to be great to sweep the doubleheader in your first 2 games at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only is it great to sweep the doubleheader, but I think they learned a little bit about themselves as a team. They found guys that are very capable arms out of the bullpen. One of the biggest ones being Evan Shawver, who pitched an absolute gem through 3 2/3 of an inning, 5 strikeouts for him. And then, of course, how good has Logan Allen been all season? I get that they're going to be without his services for a majority of the year, but once again, through his first 2 starts, 11 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 17 strikeouts, he has been an absolute monster. The identity is starting to become set a little bit for this Harwich team. They're not going to go out and win in 20, or not 20, but then like 11-7 fashion. They're going to be a relatively low-scoring team, but when they capitalize on opportunities, the pitching is there to back them up, and I think that's more of what we're going to see out of the Mariners. That's my impression through our first 6 games.
So with that 6th game wrapped up in the books, Harwich now back at 500. They improved to 3-3 on the season. The Commodores falling to 2-3-1 on the young season. Once again, thank you everybody for joining us, and a big happy Father's Day goes out to all the fathers out there enjoying their weekend. I'm sure a lot of them watching that U.S. Open wrapping up here this afternoon, as it always does. But for all of us here, the Mariners, our producer Matt Lucy, Tyler Henry, my broadcast partner, I'm Colin Casey. Thanks for joining us once again for both games today, and we will see you tomorrow as the Mariners host Bourne. So long, everybody.